Stop chasing her. Stop texting. Stop calling. Just stop. Because the moment you go silent, that's when the truth reveals itself. You'll see who she really is. And more importantly, what she really feels about you. This isn't just mind games. This is female psychology 101. And too many men out here are playing checkers while women are playing chess. Men have been taught that silence means weakness, that if you don't keep chasing her, she'll forget you. Wrong. In reality, silence is the most powerful message you can send. When you stop talking to a woman, her reaction speaks volumes: panic, indifference, confusion, anger, or suddenly becoming sweet again. Why? Because your silence disrupts control. And for women who are used to being pursued, your absence hits harder than any paragraph you could have sent. This isn't about manipulation, it's about observation. It's about emotional intelligence. You learn a lot about a woman not when you talk to her, but when you don't. When a man steps back, her patterns emerge. Does she move on fast? Start posting more? Reach out? Stay silent too? All of that is communication. And most guys never get to see it. Because they're too busy double texting and begging for attention that was never mutual in the first place. Here's the twist. Sometimes silence doesn't bring her back, and that's the best gift you could have gotten. Because now you're not wasting your time. Other times, she comes running. And not because you're playing hard to get, but because you reminded her that you're not easy to replace. Too many men are scared to walk away, and that's exactly why they get walked over. Silence doesn't just protect your dignity, it reveals hers. So, what exactly happens when you stop talking to her? Let's break it down into 10 cold, raw, and undeniable shifts, each one backed by patterns men see but rarely understand. 1. She starts posting more, especially for attention. The moment you stop talking to her, she doesn't go silent, right? She gets louder, but not in your DMs. She does it where you can see her, indirectly. Her Instagram stories are suddenly full. She's posting selfies, quotes about being unbothered, pictures with friends, gym sessions, even food. It's like a highlight reel of her life without you, but don't be fooled. This is classic behavior. She's not just living her best life, she's performing. And the audience is you. Whether she admits it or not, a part of her is hoping you'll see it, feel something, and break the silence. That's not confidence. That's strategy. Some guys get confused here. They think she moved on. They think she's too busy to care. But here's the truth. If she really didn't care, she'd go quiet too. When someone is truly over you, they don't start putting on a show. They go private. But when she starts posting harder, it's because your silence triggered something in her. A sense of rejection, a bruised ego, a need to reclaim power. It's not always about missing you. Sometimes it's about missing the attention. This is where most men fail the test. They watch the story, like the post, maybe even reply. Wrong move. That's exactly what she wanted. Confirmation that you're still watching, that she still matters. But if you keep quiet, if you don't engage, the performance starts to feel empty to her. She may even double down, posting more skin, deeper quotes, or smiling with a guy just close enough to make you wonder. This isn't about being petty. It's about how women respond to emotional space. She wants to know if you're still emotionally attached, and attention is her radar. She uses social media as a mirror. She's not looking at herself. She's checking to see if you're looking at her. And sometimes when she realizes you're not, that's when she finally reaches out. Not out of love, out of curiosity, pride, or a sudden fear that she's losing her grip. Silence doesn't just bother her, it activates her. But only if you hold it long enough to let her react. Most men never make it that far. 2. She pretends not to care but watches everything. She'll act unbothered. Like your silence means absolutely nothing to her. You'll see her laughing online, hanging out, posting stories that say, peace over problems, or I'm good either way. But behind all that, she's noticing everything you're doing and not doing. Women are observant, especially when emotions are involved. If you used to message her daily and suddenly you don't, she feels it. Even if she doesn't say a word, she might not text, but she's checking when you were last online. She's seeing who you followed. She's watching to see if you're liking other women's posts. She might even block and unblock you just to see if you react. This is what makes it tricky. The silence can make her more active than ever. just not directly with you. Her pride won't let her chase you first, especially if she thinks you're the one who gave up. So she plays it cool. She wants to look like she's already over it, even if she's still thinking about it. But you'll know. Not because she tells you, but because of the small things. She watches your stories within seconds. She stops posting for a few days, then suddenly drops a fire pic at midnight. She starts replying to comments from guys she used to ignore. All of that is response, not confidence. What she's doing is subtle. She's creating a scene where she appears above it all, while secretly hoping you'll notice she's not. And if you fall for it, if you come crawling back because you thought she truly didn't care, you lose the upper hand. The key is understanding that just because she's silent doesn't mean she's over it. Women are trained to mask emotion better than men. They process things inwardly. But if she truly didn't care, she wouldn't bother pretending. It's not about being cold or heartless. It's about seeing through the performance. Not everything that looks calm is peace. Sometimes it's just pride dressed in silence. Hold your position. Don't rush to fix something she's pretending isn't broken. If she really doesn't care, you'll feel the distance. But if she's pretending, that's when the energy feels weird, like she's still in it, just too stubborn to admit it. 3, she asks mutual friends about you. You won't hear from her directly, but she's still gathering intel. Once the silence sets in and she realizes you're not reaching out, she'll find another way to check on you. And one of the most common ways? Through the people you both know. Your name will come up. Casually at first, but don't think for a second it's random. She's strategic. She might say something like, "Hey, have you heard from him?" Or, "Is he doing okay?" Maybe even, "Wow, he disappeared, huh?" But what she's really doing is testing the waters, trying to figure out if your silence is real, temporary, or a game. This is where female psychology gets interesting. She won't message you directly because it might look like she's chasing. But asking about you through others gives her just enough distance to protect her ego, while still satisfying her curiosity. It's like emotional recon. She wants the updates without the vulnerability. You might not even know she's doing this at first, but if you're close with any of your mutuals, eventually one of them will mention, "Yo, she was asking about you." That's the sign. That's when you know your silence has been noticed, not just felt. And deep down, that curiosity isn't just about your whereabouts. It's about your mindset. She wants to know, did he move on? Does he miss me? Is he talking to someone else? Why is he so quiet? All these questions are running through her head. And if you stay quiet long enough, they start to bother her. Here's what's wild, though. Even if she's the one who pulled away, she still feels like you're the one who's supposed to come back. That's the twisted part. And when you don't, that's when she starts fishing for answers. She might not ever tell you directly that she asked about you. She might act like nothing happened if you two ever talk again. But trust this, her silence isn't always disinterest. Sometimes it's just disguised attention. Women are experts at checking in without checking in. And if you're not emotionally disciplined, you'll fold the moment you hear she asked about you. Don't. Let her come all the way to you, not halfway through a mutual friend. 4, she gets angry or defensive out of nowhere. Here's where things take a turn, and most men get blindsided. When you stop talking to her, you'd expect her to either move on or stay quiet, right? But sometimes she does something completely different. She gets mad, out of nowhere, cold, snappy, even disrespectful. You're thinking, wait, I haven't even done anything. I've just been quiet. Exactly, that's why she's upset. See, when a man goes silent, especially one she's used to having around, it creates a gap. And that gap makes her feel something she doesn't want to admit, a loss of control. She doesn't know what you're thinking, who you're talking to, or why you've gone quiet. And it gets to her. So instead of showing vulnerability, she flips it. She lashes out, makes passive-aggressive comments, might even start arguments or say things like, "Oh, so now you're ghosting," or "Wow, you're really immature." Sometimes she'll hit you with sarcasm. "Guess you're too busy for people now." Understand this, anger is a cover. It's not really about you ignoring her. It's about her ego not knowing how to handle being ignored. And instead of admitting she misses you, she tries to make you feel guilty. This is how some women protect their pride. They attack before they admit they care. This is the part where too many men mess up. The second she shows emotion, they take the bait. They rush to apologize. They explain themselves. They go back to giving her the attention she was testing for in the first place. And just like that, the power shifts again. If she's truly over you, she wouldn't feel the need to throw jabs. But when she's mad, for no clear reason, it's because your silence is hitting deeper than she expected. That's the wake up call for you as a man. Some of you are so afraid of making a woman uncomfortable that the moment she shows negative emotion, you fold. But listen, a man who can't hold his position in silence will always be controlled by noise. Sometimes her anger is a cry for validation. Don't reward it. Stay calm, stay grounded. Let her feel what she needs to feel. Because the truth is, her anger isn't the problem. It's her reaction to your strength. 5, she suddenly becomes nice again. Now here's where things get confusing and a little dangerous. After you've been silent for a while, after she's tried to act unbothered, maybe even threw some shade or acted distant, something changes. Out of nowhere, she gets sweet again. She compliments you, sends a random, hey stranger text, maybe reacts to your story with a heart emoji. She might even say something like, I was just thinking about you. Or, you've been quiet lately, hope everything's good. Sounds nice, right? But here's what you need to understand. This isn't always genuine warmth. In many cases, it's emotional bait. Women aren't stupid. When their usual tactics stop working, when ignoring you, posting for attention, or even getting angry doesn't pull you back in, they switch strategies. And the nice girl is often their final card. Not because they miss you deeply, but because your silence is starting to make them feel replaceable. And that's a feeling no one enjoys, especially someone who's used to being chased. Here's the real game. Her kindness is a test. She wants to see if you're still emotionally available. If you respond too fast, too eager, or with too much energy, she knows she still has you. And once she knows that, she might disappear again or pull back just to prove she could still control the situation. Some of you have seen this firsthand. She reaches out, you respond, things seem good, and then suddenly she's cold again. That's not confusion. That's confirmation for her. She wanted to see if she could still affect you, and you proved she could. It's not about being paranoid. It's about being aware. If someone flips from cold to warm without any real conversation, apology, or explanation, that's not emotional growth. That's manipulation wrapped in politeness. Now, not every woman plays this game. Some genuinely miss you and want to reconnect. But the only way to know the difference is to not rush back in just because she got nice. Pay attention to the pattern, not the words. Because a man who responds to sweetness without discernment will always be at the mercy of mixed signals. She's not always being kind. Sometimes she's just resetting the trap. 6, she reaches out casually, but it's a test. At first glance, it seems harmless. A simple message, hey, just checking in. Or, did you see that funny meme I sent you? Or even, hey, do you still have my hoodie? It sounds casual, innocent, like she's just being friendly, but don't be fooled. This is a test. She's reaching out, but not in a way that requires vulnerability. She doesn't say she misses you. She doesn't ask how you're really doing. She's trying to trigger a reaction, not a deep conversation. And how you respond will tell her everything she wants to know. If you jump on the message too fast, act too happy, or fall back into full conversation mode, she knows she still has you without having to commit anything emotionally. But if you respond with the same calm energy or even take your time, she gets confused. She starts wondering if your silence changed something. And that's exactly when the dynamic starts to shift. The danger here is that most men want her to reach out. So when she finally does, they overvalue the moment. They think, she misses me. She's coming back. She realized my worth. No, most times she just wants to see if she still matters to you. It's not about missing the relationship. It's about making sure she wasn't forgotten. She wants to know if she still exists in your emotional space, even after she disappeared from your physical space. This is why women often reach out with random, surface-level messages. It keeps their pride safe. If you don't respond, she can say, I was just saying hi, it's not that deep. But if you do respond, she can measure exactly how much ground she still holds. And here's the real kicker. Sometimes After you reply, she disappears again, just like that. Why? Because she got what she came for, validation. You were still available, still emotionally present. So, what's the move? Stay calm, stay cool. Don't ignore her to be petty, but don't jump in like you've been waiting. Respond like a man who's doing just fine, with or without her energy. Because when she reaches out casually, it's not just a hello, it's a mirror to see if your silence made you stronger, or just quiet. 7. She tries to make you jealous. This is one of the oldest tricks in the book, and if you're not emotionally disciplined, it works every time. After you've been silent for a while and she sees that you're not chasing, not checking in, not reacting, she pulls out what she thinks is her ace, another man. Maybe it's a guy in her story, just close enough to look suspicious. Maybe it's pictures at a party, laughing a little too hard with someone you've never seen before. Or suddenly she starts liking and commenting on another guy's posts, someone she never even acknowledged before. This isn't love. This isn't even a new connection. This is strategy. She wants you to feel something, to react, to question if you've been replaced. Because if you do, you'll break the silence. You'll text her. You'll ask who he is. You'll get emotional. And that reaction will confirm everything she needed to know and that she still has emotional power over you. The reality is, most of these jealousy traps are fake. It's not a real connection. It's a performance, staged for your attention. She's not trying to move on. She's trying to pull you back in without looking like she wants you back. Here's how it works. If you fall for it and chase, she wins. If you stay grounded and unbothered, you win. And she starts to question her own worth. Jealousy is a weapon built on your insecurity. And the moment you show that it worked, she knows she can manipulate your emotions. Not just now, but every time. Let's be real. It stings. Seeing someone you cared about use another man to get to you isn't easy. But it's in that moment that you have to decide. Are you going to react like every other guy? Or are you going to show her what true emotional control looks like? Because when a woman tries to make you jealous, she's not trying to hurt you. She's trying to wake up your attention. Don't give her that satisfaction. Let her post, pose, and pretend, because nothing messes with a woman's ego more than realizing the man she wanted a reaction from didn't flinch. 8. She moves on. Fast, but it's not real. She vanishes. New guy, new posts, new energy, just like that. It looks like she replaced you overnight, like none of it ever meant anything, and you start questioning everything. Was I that easy to forget? Did she already have him waiting? Was it all fake? Calm down, breathe. Because what you're seeing is not always reality, it's reaction. When a woman moves on fast after the silence, especially when it's loud and visible, it's usually not about love. It's about emotional survival. She feels the distance, the loss of attention, and instead of sitting with it, she rushes to replace it. Not with someone better, just with someone available. See, most women don't process the end of a connection the same way men do. Men usually feel it later, once the silence settles and the emotions catch up. Women, on the other hand, often feel it first and try to avoid the emotional crash by staying busy or finding a distraction. But here's what's crazy. The faster she moves on, the more likely she's trying to outrun the silence you created. She doesn't want to sit with her thoughts. She doesn't want to wonder what you're doing, so she posts a new guy, dates a rebound, goes on that vacation. But inside, it's chaos, because she knows deep down, if she really cared nothing about you, she wouldn't need to prove how happy she is without you. And here's something most men don't realize. When a woman moves on too fast, she's not over you, she's just trying to get ahead of you emotionally. The worst thing you can do here is spiral. Start posting in response. Start calling her out. That only confirms she still controls your emotions, and it keeps you in a cycle of reacting instead of observing. Stay solid, stay quiet, let her run. Because if it's not real, and 90% of the time it's not, she'll feel it eventually. That silence you gave her, it'll echo, loud. Let her pretend you didn't matter. Because when the act wears off and she's left with reality, your absence will hit her harder than any other man's presence. 9. She waits for you to break first. Now it becomes a battle of patience and pride. She's not calling. She's not texting. She's not liking anything. She's gone full ghost. But don't mistake her silence for peace. She's watching, waiting, calculating. And deep down, she's hoping one thing, that you're the one who breaks first. This is the point in the silence where the energy shifts. It's not about emotions anymore. It becomes a quiet standoff. Who cares less? Who's more disciplined? Who's going to fold? And trust me, she does not. She doesn't want to fold first. Why? Because breaking the silence means exposing herself. It means opening the door to rejection, vulnerability, or losing the upper hand. And if she's used to being chased, praised, or put on a pedestal, your silence threatens her sense of control. But she doesn't want to show it. So she waits. She stays quiet on purpose, not because she's over it, but because she wants to win. Some women will literally go weeks, even months in silence. Not because they're healed, but because they're counting days, checking for signs, waiting for a text, a like, a DM, anything from you, but they won't show it. Instead, they'll match your silence with more silence. But here's the difference. You're doing it for clarity and peace. She's doing it for power. That's the trap. The moment you reach out, the scoreboard resets. She wins. Not because you reached out, but because now she knows you still care. She'll play it cool, act like it didn't matter, but inside, she just took back control. And what's worse, some men think, I'll reach out just to be mature, or I'll break the silence to check in, and that's strength. No, that's you giving up the last bit of emotional leverage you had. Sometimes silence isn't a game, it's a lesson. It's you learning what happens when you finally stop chasing. And it's her learning how she behaves when you remove your energy. So let her wait. Let her hold the silence, because a woman who's waiting for you to break first is not at peace. She's in checkmate and hoping you don't see it. 10, she reevaluates your value and hers. This is the part most men never get to see, because they never hold the silence long enough. At first, she thought you'd come back. Then she tried to trigger a reaction. Then she got quiet. Then she waited. But now she starts to reflect, not just on you, but on herself. And this is where the truth begins to surface. See, your silence wasn't just a pause. It was a mirror. It forced her to look at how she handled the disconnect. Did she try to fix things? Did she act out? Did she play games? Or did she let her ego run the show? And more importantly, did she actually appreciate the version of you she once had? This is where she starts to reevaluate. Was he really the problem, or did I take him for granted? Did I push him away with my pride? Why did he stop talking, and why does it still bother me? She may not say these things out loud, she may never admit them to anyone, but deep down she starts to realize a man who can go silent without bitterness, without begging, without chasing, is a man who knows his worth. And that realization shifts everything. Because now she's not just thinking about what you did, she's thinking about what she lost. Some women won't admit this. They'll keep the performance going. Others will come back quietly, humbled, maybe even nervous. But regardless of whether she returns or not, the silence did what it was supposed to do: reset the dynamic. You didn't argue, you didn't beg, you didn't lower your standards. You simply stopped talking. And in doing so, you forced her to reevaluate everything. But here's the twist. You also reevaluated yourself. You saw what you were allowing. You noticed how much energy you were giving. And you realized that maybe, just maybe, the silence wasn't punishment, or it was protection. So now she's thinking, questioning, reflecting. And whether she comes back or not, she's not the same woman who watched you walk away. Because a woman who goes through a man's silence and feels the weight of it, grows from it, or crumbles because of it. Either way, your value just got louder, not without you saying a word. You said, next relationship script said, conclusion. Here's the brutal truth. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say to a woman is nothing. Not out of spite, not out of ego, but because you finally understand your value doesn't live in how loud you love. It lives in how silently you walk away when you're not being respected. When you stop talking to her, you're not punishing her, you're protecting yourself. And what she does after that silence, it tells you everything you need to know. So, let's talk. Have you ever gone silent on a woman? What happened next? Drop it in the comments and I'll read every single one, and if it hits, I'll respond directly. This isn't just a video. This is your reminder that your voice has power, but sometimes your silence, That's when the game really changes.